Today we are going to study vectors. Before studying vectors, we should understand why we need to study vectors. Vectors is one of the most important topics related to physics, right? So let's say this is a block and I'm applying a force of 10 Newton like this and a 5 Newton also like this. So what will happen? This block will move forward with a certain force of 15 Newton. That means it will have certain acceleration, right? But now let's say if I'm applying the force 10 Newton like this and 5 Newton like this, it will still move with a certain force in the forward direction, which we know is 5 Newton because we know 10 minus 5 will give me 5 Newtons, right? Now, what will happen if we'll apply the force 10 Newton like this and 5 Newton like this, making a certain angle 60-degree with each other. So this force will have certain result, and that means it will have a certain result or certain magnitude, and it will go in certain direction. From here we can say that although we have applied the same force in this and in this, that is 10 Newton and 5 Newton, but the results are different in all the three, right? So we can say that direction is as important as magnitude. Got it? So now we have to understand both magnitude and direction in order to understand the impact of certain quantities, right? So here we can say that both direction and magnitude are important for us. So let's say we have two types of quantities: scalar and vector. Scalar quantities are those which have only magnitude, associated with them. Vector quantities, they have both magnitude and direction. So distance is an example of a scalar quantity, and displacement is an example of a vector quantity. Let's say I ask you to run 10 kilometers and you'll reach the school. Will you be able to? No. Because see what happens if I ask you to run 10 kilometers, you can even run in your room, right? But if I ask you to run 10 kilometers towards school, then this 10 kilometers becomes displacement or a vector quantity. Because In this, along with magnitude, the direction is also associated, right? Then comes a very important thing. How do we represent a vector? A vector can be represented by a letter with an arrowhead. In this, we have to mention both magnitude as well as direction. So, vector in the modulus sign represents the magnitude, and a letter with a cap over it is called, it gives us the direction. So that means vector magnitude of a vector this is called unit vector, which has magnitude of 1. It represents only direction. Right. Now we have talked about how we can represent a vector. Now we'll see how do we represent a vector graphically. So how do we represent a vector graphically? Vector is represented by a line with an arrowhead. The length of the line represents the magnitude, and the direction of the arrow represents the direction of the vector. Represents the direction of the vector. Hope it is clear. Now we talk about, let's say this is a line. I'm calling it 2a cap. 2 is equal to magnitude. A cap represents direction. It can be any direction. It is actually arbitrary. That means it can have any direction. Arbitrary direction means it can be any direction, right? So, to here, I think everything is clear to all the students. In the subsequent videos, what we will do is we will do the how to multiply scalar quantities, how to make multiply vector with scalars, what is a dot product, what is a cross product, how do we do vector addition and vector subtraction, right? So please follow my channel to get all the information or all the lessons on vectors, right? So rest will do in the next video. Okay, bye.